This conference will now be recorded.
All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Jessica Malazzo. I'm a certified integrative nutrition health coach, and we're going to go through mason jar meal recipes tonight. So I'm going to do a demonstration of 3 different meals. We're going to make a chia seed pudding, a mason jar salad, and then we're going to make a quinoa salad. So these recipes are easy, they're delicious, and they're also healthy. They're perfect for the summer months. You could also eat them, of course, in the winter. But now that the warmer weather is coming, we oftentimes feel that we want to eat something maybe cooler or colder. So we kind of tend to go away from the soups and the stews. And also, who wants to be over the stove or over the oven, or I guess in front of the oven, prepping all day. So these are really simple. We're going to first go through the organic chia seed pudding. So this is similar to an overnight oats. Some people might say, why chia seeds? So chia seeds, I have a bag right here, if you could see. They are organic chia seeds. They're full of omega-3s, which help reduce inflammation. Also, they're full of fiber, and they also have protein as well. So there's 10 grams of fiber for 3 tablespoons. And this recipe only contains a few ingredients. So we're gonna use our organic chia seeds. The next, we're gonna use a canned coconut milk. So I do love full fat coconut milk. This makes the pudding extremely creamy, decadent, but you can use a light coconut milk if you want as well. So I have that. And then you could also use almond milk, oat milk, really whatever type of milk you prefer. It really depends on if you have any allergies or your preference. Just know that if you use an almond milk or maybe an oat milk, it might come out thinner. So maybe you want to add in a mashed banana, or you could add in some chia seeds. Chia seeds are great because they thicken overnight. So you'll notice that this consistency is going to be very thick, much like a pudding, and be a real treat for breakfast. So I'm going to open up our coconut milk. And then our only other ingredients are going to be cinnamon and vanilla extract. So this isn't going to be a sweet breakfast. And I oftentimes tell people that it's best to add your sweetness later. So we're going to top these chia puddings with whatever toppings you prefer. You could use granola, you could use fresh fruit, you could use coconut flakes, really whatever your preference is. Get creative. You could also do, say, peanuts and raisins and a little honey or maple syrup. So you could really make each one different. And this way everyone in your family will like it. And you don't feel like you're eating the same thing every single day. So you'll see, I don't know if you could see, but the full fat coconut milk is quite creamy. Again, I also love coconut milk because for me, it has this like natural sweetness. It's also full of healthy fats, so it helps keep me full longer. So I would really eat this for breakfast and not be hungry until lunch. So 1 can is about 1.5 cups, almost 2 cups. So I'm gonna double this recipe. So the recipe that I'm gonna give you would really serve 2. And I put it in the smaller mason jars. So you could see them here. Mason jars are great to have on hand. You can pretty much find them everywhere. So they're at Walmart, Target, Michael's. You could even find them at garage sales. So they're great to store food in and also take with you on the go. You could also use whatever container you have on hand. So don't feel that you need to go out and buy something new if you already have it. So I'm doubling the recipe. I did 1 can of whole fat coconut milk, and I'm just gonna add a touch of water just to make it 2 cups. So we have 2 cups of liquid. Again, you could use any type of dairy, non-dairy milk you would prefer. And now our chia seeds. So again, we're doubling the recipe. We're gonna do a 1/2 cup of chia seeds. Chia seeds are pretty easy to find nowadays. These are from Costco. So you could get them. They're also great to add into your smoothies. Also, you could top your salad with them. So again, it's just great to get your omega-3s. You could get calcium from there, fiber. They're really great to have on hand and add to whatever you have. You could also put some on yogurt, just sprinkle it there so they could be completely eaten raw. And next, we're gonna add some cinnamon and vanilla extract. And even here in this aspect, you can get a little creative. You know, in the fall, maybe you wanna do a pumpkin spice seasoning. You could add almond extract if you want that. So you could kind of play around. And at this stage too, I would add in a banana if I had. So a banana gives it, I think I actually have a banana, so maybe I'm gonna add it. So I have a ripened banana. This gives it a nice sweetness without adding in any added sugar. So again, just making sure to watch your sugar intake, because the more sugar that we ingest, the more likely we are going to intake a lot more throughout the day. So eating sugar craves, or eating added sugar makes us crave more sugar. So we just want to be aware of that. According to the American Heart Association, we are said to not consume more than 25 grams of added sugar each day. And just so you know, there's natural occurring sugar in milk, there's natural occurring sugar in vegetables and fruit as well. So we're more talking about the processed sugar. So we're gonna add in some cinnamon. I'm gonna give you measurements in the recipe. It's really to your preference. I kind of just add in whatever looks about right. And then we're gonna do some vanilla extract. Again, use almond extract, just a little bit. And that's all that we're adding. So super simple. You can make this in a bullet if you have, so you don't need a large blender to do it. You could also do it in a bowl. Just know that your chia seeds will remain whole. So let me just show you what the chia seeds look like in case anyone is not familiar with them. Let me see if you can see at all. So they're kind of little like black seeds. They're quite small. And when you blend them, they're really gonna almost puree the seeds. But if you don't have a blender, don't worry, you don't need the blender. You could just mix all of these ingredients in a bowl and then separate them out into your mason jars. So I'm just gonna blend this up really quick, and you're gonna see it really transform. All right, so that looks about good. And you can even make this for a dessert if you're craving something sweet. Again, this isn't gonna be super sweet. You know, it will be sweeter since we added in banana, but you could add in a little maple syrup or honey. So I'm gonna pour it so you could see the thickness. And it's relatively thick now, but it's going to thicken as we leave it in the fridge. Let me just put my, just wanna make sure that you can see it. So it almost has pretty much a pudding texture to it. I have a few jars. And these are half pint jars just for your reference. So they are the smaller jars. But again, use what you have at home. Don't feel that you have to go to the store and buy something. You could definitely use whatever types of jars that you have. So I'm just gonna fill up the last one. So we doubled the recipe again, so it made 4 jars. You could see that they're good portions. So this is going to be higher in calories but lower in carbs. And again, I'm using whole fat coconut milk, so the fat content is going to be higher as well. So if you're concerned about that, go with your almond milk, go with your oat milk, whatever you prefer. I focus on eating whole foods rather than counting calories. So I believe that as much as you could really nurture and feed yourself with whole foods, so vegetables, fruits, whole grains, good sources of protein, the better off that we are. So really trying to reduce or eliminate as much processed foods as we can. All right, so this is quite thick, as you could see. And now we're gonna get creative. So we're gonna top them. I have some granola today. So I have some granola I had made, and then I have some strawberries. And in the recipe that you're gonna get, I gave you recommendations as to what you could use. So I have some strawberries. As many of you probably know, strawberries are in season, so they're quite inexpensive, and they're also so much sweeter. I don't know if anyone has noticed that when you buy produce in season, it just at least is so much better. So we're just gonna top these with some strawberries. Again, if you're making this for dessert, maybe you wanna add in some chocolate chips or add in a little maple syrup. The strawberries smell so good. All right, and then we're gonna just use, I have a little granola. And this is gonna keep in the refrigerator for about up to a week. We use a week for the most part as just a safety to make sure that nothing goes bad. But blueberries would be great. You could also top these with frozen fruit because by the time you eat it in the morning, it will be thawed out. So that is our chia pudding. So that's the first recipe. As you guys saw, only a few ingredients, didn't take a lot of time. And then you just cover it and keep it in the fridge. So this is great. I mean, most of us are going back to work, or even if you're spending the day at the beach and you want to make sure that you have food with you, that you don't maybe eat things that you rather not, like chips or something like that, you could just take these with you. So really simple. They're quite delicious, and something that you could just kind of throw in the fridge and get creative with it. So that's our first recipe. Now I'm going to show you, so now we're moving into our lunch items, but also I like meals that can be lunch or dinner or even a snack. So let me just put this away. So we're gonna make a mason jar salad, and we're also gonna make a quinoa salad. First, I'm gonna start with the red wine vinaigrette. Let me get my mason jar. So again, in a mason jar, we are going to make our salad dressing. Why do I love making a salad dressing in a mason jar? Because the measurements are right on the side for you. So you don't have to use another measuring cup. I love to use things twice or three times without having to necessarily wash them. So, you know, obviously I keep everything clean, but why dirty a measuring cup when you already have your measuring cup here and you could just make your salad dressing in here? So again, I'm going to double this recipe because I'm going to use it for my mason jar salad and then also the quinoa salad. So we're going to do a half a cup of olive oil. Let me just put this down so you guys can see again. So again, I'm just measuring based on the side of my jar. So we're doing a half a cup, so that's 4 ounces. And now we're going to do 4 ounces of red wine vinaigrette. This is also a great way if, you know, say you're going to someone's house for a barbecue and you need to bring something, it's a great way to transport the dressing without your salad getting soggy or anything spilling anywhere. All right, and then we're gonna use some lemon juice. So this is a quick tip. I love buying this organic lemon juice. This way, none of my lemons go bad. I always have it in the fridge, and I use it for a lot of different dressings. I also love to put it in my water. So if I'm feeling a little dehydrated or low in energy, I'll add some fresh lemon juice to my water. Really, you could use it for whatever. If you're making a margarita, you could use the lemon juice. So the only ingredient is organic lemon juice. You could find this in pretty much any store. I got this at Stop and Shop, but Whole Foods, pretty much any supermarket has this brand. The brand is called Lakewood. It's USDA organic, just pure lemon juice, not from concentrate. So I find that this is great to have on hand because if I need lemon juice for whatever recipe, it's always in my refrigerator. And again, sometimes I buy lemons and then they go bad and then I have to buy them again. So it just allows you to always have fresh lemon juice on hand, which is really nice. So I'm just gonna shake it a little bit and we're gonna add in 2 tablespoons. And this dressing could be modified, you know, if you have a different taste buds and want to add more lemon juice, or maybe you want to add more Dijon mustard, really play with it. Cooking can be a lot of fun and also give you the ability to be creative. So the next thing we're going to add in some Dijon mustard. I'm going to add a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. You also don't have to add Dijon mustard. You could add a whole grain mustard, a spicy mustard, again, whatever you prefer. Let me just get a spatula. And the mason jars, making them in, or making the salad dressing in the mason jars are great because you could shake it easily. It really allows it to help emulsify, which is wonderful. And then we're gonna add a little sweetener. So I have some maple syrup. Again, if you're watching your sugar, just omit it, but we're gonna add in 2 teaspoons. And then the last ingredient is going to be garlic. So I love to use fresh garlic, but if you don't have fresh garlic on hand, then use powdered garlic. And if you don't like garlic, then don't use it. So I'm going to bring the cutting board in front. So you
Carol's asking if there's any alternatives to mustard that you would recommend.
Let me think. I mean, I guess you can add in, like, if you like a little mayo. I would just say omit it if you don't like it.
Okay.
It would still be delicious. You know, it would still be delicious. You could even add in, you know, you're using a red wine vinegar. You could use an apple cider vinegar. But yeah, Dijon mustard, if you don't like it, just omit it. You could always add in a mayo. But in terms of another condiment, I wouldn't think that anything else would really go so well. But yeah, it wouldn't make a huge deal, especially if you don't like it. All right, so we just have garlic. I'm doing 2 cloves. Again, I love garlic, so. And if you don't want to cut up garlic, use garlic powder.
Would minced garlic be okay for it too?
Oh yeah, of course. You could also put in like minced onion, whatever kind of spices you would want. The red wine vinegar and the olive oil kind of gives you a base of it, but feel free to add in if you want to add in an Italian seasoning. Definitely get creative. This has kind of been my go-to salad dressing that I use pretty much for everything. And it depends on your preference too. Some people don't like the flavor of raw garlic or feel that it's too strong. So again, you could just omit it, or if a minced garlic is less powerful for you, you could definitely use that as well. I'm just gonna get a cover and then we're gonna shake this. Okay, and we're just gonna add in, we could add in some pepper, so fresh ground pepper. We could also do a little salt, but like Nikki was saying that, you know, she's not even adding in salt to her recipes, which is great, and then salt it afterwards because our taste buds are all different. So maybe you wanna just add a little pinch of salt. I tend to use pink Himalayan salt a lot. It has less sodium in it, and I like the flavoring of it, but again, whatever salt you prefer would work perfectly fine. So here's the dressing. You know, again, I doubled the recipe, but this is something that you could keep in the fridge. So for your salads for the week, we're gonna use it for the quinoa salad and the mason jar salad, but a simple little salad dressing that, you know, you can make in a few minutes. And two, knowing that you could buy a salad dressing in the supermarket, but I strongly suggest just start reading ingredient labels because there are a lot of added ingredients and also artificial flavorings and chemicals and things like that. So if you do have the time and you have the resources, I strongly suggest making your own salad dressing just because you know what's in it and it's better quality. If you don't have time, you could also just use a little olive oil and balsamic vinegar. So again, you know, it doesn't have to take a lot of time or, you know, just be too difficult for you. So I'm just gonna move this. Now, my other tip for the week that I love to do is if you have a food processor, I love to shred vegetables in it. So shredding carrots is extremely great for salads. We're gonna put it in bowl salads now. I'm just gonna get my food processor. And I tell people too, you know, meal prep can mean a lot of different things. It doesn't mean that every single meal for the entire week has to be prepped out. It's just really allowing yourself to have healthier foods on hand. So when you're hungry, you don't have to worry about, you know, cooking something if you're starving and you need something right away. So I'm gonna get some carrots. And again, you could finely chop these. You could also use a box grater, so you don't need to have a food processor. Again, I like to do many carrots, so this way I have them on hand. We're gonna use them for the mason jar salad and then also the quinoa salad. So we're kind of prepping once, but using twice. So again, just something to think about where you're prepping once, you're cleaning once, but you could use it for multiple meals. So I'm just gonna shred these really quick. All right. You could also shred zucchini for the week, so you could make a zucchini pizza, or I make zucchini brownies. So again, you wouldn't need to clean the food processor if you're doing it before or after. So this really shreds your carrots very finely. It doesn't take a lot of effort. And again, we're gonna use these carrots for multiple meals. So I'm gonna just put these to the side. I normally will put them in, if anybody's familiar, like a Chinese soup container, one of those quart containers, so it will last for the week, but you could use it in a mason jar or whatever you have. So we are gonna go into our mason jar salads. To make a mason jar salad, you need a quart mason jar. I love using a wide mouth just because it's easier to eat out of it. So you could eat your salad right out of the mason jar, or you could shake it up and put it on a plate depending on where you are, and maybe how much time that you have to eat. But you know, if you're on the go, you could technically eat this in the car, or if you're at the office, you could eat your salad right out of the jar and everything's going to be in it, including the salad dressing. So again, it makes it really simple to make. You could get creative with these. I'm going to give you a few ideas, but make them your own. So I oftentimes say if you don't eat what you enjoy eating, then most likely you're not going to be consistent with it. So choose ingredients that you like, and then also take the time to maybe try a few different ingredients. In our mason jar, I'm going to add it. I'm chopping up some cucumber right now. So I'm just going to chop it up. We're going to add in some beans. You could add in tomatoes. Again, like we're coming into season or summer season, and vegetables are so easily accessible to us. So if you're growing anything or you go visit a farm, just pick up whatever is there. All right, so we have a little cucumber, we have our carrot, and now we're gonna start making our salad. So everyone can see that, right? Okay. So the salad dressing goes in the bottom. So I'm just gonna quickly shake this up again. I like to measure my salad dressing just so I don't add in too much or too little. So a tablespoon of olive oil is about 120 calories. So this is mixed with half and half red wine vinaigrette. So you could use about 2 tablespoons of your salad dressing. So we just put that on the bottom. Now we're gonna next add in ingredients that can hold up to the salad dressing. So they're not gonna get soggy, and that they'll actually take on the flavor. So I'm gonna add in beans. If you don't like beans, definitely omit them. I have some dark kidney beans, but you could use whatever you prefer, garbanzo beans, pinto beans. And I suggest between 1/4 cup and 1/2 cup. If you're gonna add in maybe another meat source or protein source, then do a 1/4 cup. But I'm not gonna add in any other type of meat today, so I'm gonna do 1/2 cup of beans. So you'll see they're right on the bottom, you know, similar to a bean salad where you're marinating in a dressing, so it's gonna take on that flavoring. Next, we're gonna add in some of our cucumber. If we had tomatoes, we would add tomatoes. So again, you know, especially with the pandemic, I think we saw that we couldn't always get what we wanted at the food store. So just being flexible and using what we had. All right, so we had cucumbers. Again, if you have tomatoes, you're gonna add them at this point, and your recipe is gonna show you when to add what ingredients. And now we're gonna add in some carrots. And I always say we eat with our eyes, so I like to make my meals as colorful as possible, because if you get excited about what you're gonna eat, obviously you're gonna continue to eat it, and you know, eat also a variety of different nutrients. Focus on eating the rainbow of vegetables. This way it ensures that you're getting a variety of nutrients with each vegetable that you're eating. So just to recap, we have the dressing on the bottom, we have our dark red kidney beans, our cucumbers, and then our carrots. And then today I am going to be using butter lettuce. You could use whatever lettuce that you have. So you could also, at this point, would be adding your protein. So you could do hard-boiled eggs, you could do canned tuna, you could do leftover grilled chicken, steak, whatever you have, you would put it in at this time. You could also do a little cheese if you would want as well. And then I also like to add in a grain. So you could add in some quinoa, and that's if this is gonna be a meal. Sometimes we want to just add in more vegetables into our daily routine. So I would have this for a dinner with something else. So maybe I'm eating a veggie burger, or I'm eating grilled chicken or whatever. So you might just have a mason jar salad on the side as well. So it makes it convenient with if you have to go to work, but it also makes it convenient at home where it doesn't take a lot of space up in the fridge. And then you automatically have your salad ready. So if you want to incorporate more vegetables into your daily diet, this is a great way to do it. So I have butter lettuce. I'll show you what it looks like. You could do kale, you could do spinach. This again is from Costco. So the beautiful butter lettuce, I find that it lasts really or much longer. It's not already washed, so you have to wash it. And that's another thing. So all of my vegetables I had washed prior. So again, when you get your vegetables from the store, make sure that you come home and wash them. So I have my butter lettuce. I love using a salad spinner. I chopped my butter lettuce prior, and then I just rinsed it with cold water. I find that the salad also keeps much better. So if I don't use all of this, I could put this entire thing, which it does take up some space, in the refrigerator, and I know that my lettuce is going to be already washed, it's prepped, and it's going to stay longer as well. So just something to be mindful. So now we're going to stuff the last of it with the lettuce. I have chickens, so they were laying a lot of eggs, and I'm pickling eggs right now, but they're not ready yet. So if you have pickled eggs on hand, you could definitely put this in the salad as well. Really use whatever you have.
How long do you have to let pickled eggs sit, Jessica?
So they say at least a week, but people say they last for, I believe it's up to 6 months in the refrigerator. And the longer that they sit, the more flavor they get. So I'm testing out 2 different recipes. I have one with apple cider vinegar. So it's really just apple cider vinegar, some sugar, and that was pretty much it. I want to say that's it. And then the other one's regular vinegar. And then I'm testing with some, like one I did with some curry powder. You could put pickled onions in there, or onions, radishes, really whatever. A lot of people do beets. So I kind of was looking for ways to preserve the eggs without them going bad.
Wow, that's a long time though. That would kind of freak me out, like waiting 6 months.
I know. Well, you know, I was trying to find, because I do, my mom and I can, and I was trying to find a canning recipe so that they would be shelf stable. But you can't really find it, because I think that there is a way to possibly have get botulism, which obviously nobody would want, because that could potentially kill you, because since the egg, there's no way for the mixture, the vinegar content, to possibly penetrate for the entire egg. I've never even had a pickled egg. I didn't know that they were really a thing. I've spoken to so many people and they love pickled eggs, or it was like a bar food. So I'm interested to try. I love hard-boiled eggs. And I've been actually loving egg salad. So I'll eat that for breakfast with some toast, or even on top of a salad for a meal. So I'm kind of like getting egged out. So as you can see, here's our mason jar salad, nice and colorful. Again, if we had some tomatoes, it would give us another pop of color. You could also do a little red cabbage in here. Shredded raw beets would also be great. And then if you have more time, I love roasting sweet potatoes. So you could add in roasted sweet potatoes in here. You could also add in roasted broccoli or cauliflower, anything that you have on hand. So know that, say you made something for dinner and you have vegetables left over, you could definitely throw them into your mason jar salad. And then when you're ready to eat this, so you're gonna keep it in the refrigerator for up to a week, before you are going to eat this, you're gonna vigorously shake it, and then you could eat it right out of the jar, or you could put it on a plate or in a bowl. So, but just know you have to shake it, and you do need to work for it a little bit, because it does take a little time to thoroughly mix everything. So our last recipe is my favorite, is a quinoa salad. I love quinoa salad. It's great cold, it's great warm, and there's so many different variations that you could do with it. So I already made my quinoa earlier. So if anyone is familiar with quinoa, quinoa is a seed. It's a great source of protein and also fiber. I really enjoy it. You could also do this with rice if you don't like quinoa, but it has a really nice nutty flavor. And again, quinoa is pretty easily to be found. You can find it at pretty much any food store. Again, Costco has a huge bag of quinoa that's already washed. It's really simple to make. So you're gonna do a cup of dried quinoa to 2 cups of water. And you really just put it in a saucepan, you bring it to a boil, and then once it's at a boil, you reduce it to low and let it simmer for 20 minutes, that's it. So I'm gonna add this into my bowl. And you'll notice if you let it sit a little bit, it might clump up. So I'm kind of just working it with a spoon. So I'm just pour all of this into my bowl. And quinoa is another item to just, you can make it one day a week and have it in your fridge. So this way you could put it in your salads. You can make quinoa salad or just have an easy grain on hand. All right. The best part of cooking too is you don't really need to measure. You kind of just eye everything. So you can see all the quinoa is here. So it makes about, I would say, 3 cups cooked quinoa. You could also use red quinoa if you have. Quinoa is also used to make breakfast. It's a breakfast porridge. So that's another great option. So there's a lot of different things that you can use quinoa for. So in the quinoa salad, we're using our carrots again. I love a lot of carrots, so I'm gonna add in a good amount. And with your carrots, you could peel them. If you scrub them, then you don't need to peel them. I know some people are kind of skeeved out by not peeling them, but I did buy organic, so I choose not to peel them. I just scrub them. And you can see we have the quinoa and carrots already in there. This salad also lasts really well with the dressing on, so it actually gets more flavor as it sits, which is wonderful. Next, we're gonna add in a full can of chickpeas. So I already rinsed them. I already drained them and just rinsed them with cold water. So we're just gonna add the full can into there. And then we're gonna chop up some scallions. Move this over so you can see. Again, we're just mixing everything together. So I have my scallions here. Quick tip with these, I don't know about you, but oftentimes I buy them in the food store and I use 2 scallions and then the rest go bad. So what you could do with scallions is plant them, especially now that the warmer weather is here. Plant them in your garden. They grow really well. So I haven't bought scallions probably since maybe the fall. They lasted through the winter for me, which is great. And another option, if you don't have an outdoor space where you could put the scallions there, you could just put them in a mason jar filled with water. So you would want to leave the roots on. So say you have, scallions left over and they have the roots on there, we would just put them in the mason jar with some water and they would grow. So this way it doesn't go to waste. And you don't have to throw out all your scallions. But it kind of, it amazed me at how well they grew once I put them outside. So I'm just chopping them up. The scallions give it a nice onion flavor, but not too strong, at least in my opinion. And then we're gonna add in some herbs. So you could do parsley, you could do basil, really whatever you have on hand. We're gonna do a mixture of basil and parsley. Again, if you have room to even have a little potted herb plant, it's so great, especially with the warmer weather. So you could buy them at Lidl or Whole Foods or Trader Joe's, and they're only a few dollars, but you could put them in a pot, and this way you're not always having to go to the store to buy your herbs, and they stay longer. So oftentimes we forget about herbs, or we buy them for one recipe and the rest goes bad because we don't know what else to do with them. But herbs add in additional nutrients. It also adds in a lot of flavor. So I strongly urge you to get creative and start adding in herbs. The basil smells so good. I bought a few basil plants this year because I love making pesto and then freezing it for the winter. It's one of my favorite things to have on hand. It's great for pasta. I'll put it on spaghetti squash. You could put it on pizza. And that I freeze in mason jars too. So I know some people will freeze the basil actually in little ice cube trays too. So that's another option for you as well. Because no one wants to buy things that they're not going to use or they can't use, and then you have to throw them out. All right, so you can see I have a good amount, but again, use as much as you want. I give you measurements in all of the recipes, but get creative. All right. And that's it. Now, you could also add in some sun-dried tomatoes I love. I actually have some now that I'll add in. So you could add in sun-dried tomatoes. You could add in olives would be great. Let me get a fork. And then we're gonna dress this, and I'm gonna add in some pumpkin seeds. So I love pumpkin seeds. You could also add in slivered almonds or walnuts, whatever you prefer. Like I said, I'm just doing a few sun-dried tomatoes. We can even add in our cucumber in here. So you're making two different meals, but you're using a lot or similar ingredients. And you can see how the ingredients are really interchangeable, but you don't feel like you're eating the same thing, which is nice. So we'll do sun-dried tomatoes, and then we're gonna dress it. This is the perfect summer salad. It's also great if you're going to a barbecue or you're having people over to make this. It's definitely a crowd pleaser. All right, so I'm just gonna move this away so you could see. So I'm just gonna mix this. And then we have our dressing. All right, we're gonna give our dressing another shake. At least this could count for a workout as well. I'm just gonna drizzle. You know, you don't want to add too much to begin with because you could always add more, but we can't take away. And if you have people over too, you could always serve some of the dressing on the side if people feel that they need a little more. Again, everyone's palate is different. I'm gonna add in a little black pepper to this. So I would serve this as a side. So you could make this with grilled chicken, or maybe you're doing a whole roasted chicken, or you're doing ground turkey, or steak, or you can eat it as a meal. So if you're vegetarian or vegan, you could eat this as a meal. I would top this with some avocado so you have a healthy fat. This also would be great with some hard-boiled eggs. So I didn't add in any additional salt because we added some salt into the dressing. And then now I'm going to top it with, I have some sprouted pumpkin seeds. These also have a little salt. So again, depending on what type of nuts you get. And I have some left, so I'm just going to use all of them. Let me see so you guys can see. So we have the pumpkin seeds. Again, I had measurements for everyone that you could eye it as well. Maybe we'll add a little more dressing. And again, this sits extremely well with the dressing. It holds up really well. If you also wanted to add in broccoli to this, you could chop up raw broccoli. That would be great. Cauliflower, red cabbage, kale. So, you know, think about this is your base and what do you want to add to it? Even if you wanted to add some cheese, you could add cheese to it. I'm using the half, this is a pint? Oh no, this is a pint mason jar. So I like the wide mouth just because it's easier to eat out of. But, okay. And then just so you know, so this is about 310 calories per cup. So again, another great way for the mason jar is you could see how much a cup is. So I'm just gonna look at that. All right, so that's about a cup. So you could see, so it's beautiful, it's colorful, bring it for lunch, but you could also eat it as a dinner and feel free to incorporate a protein source in it as well. So use this kind of as a guide, and then depending on your preferences or what you have in the house, you could also have this with canned tuna or canned salmon or you know, blackened mahi. Really, it goes with anything. So that is about it. So we went through 3 of the recipes. I will send everything to Nikki so she could give it to you. And then I'll just see if there was any other questions. Let me see.
Great. Thanks so much, Jessica. Those are amazing recipes. They sound so good. Can't wait to make them.
Good. You're welcome. Yeah, I don't think there was any other recipes, but have an amazing night. And thank you so much for having me again. It was my pleasure, and hopefully we could be at the library soon.
Exactly. And look for more programs with Jessica. She does all kinds of great cooking programs and healthy eating, which is something we all need. So look in our calendar and make sure to check your emails, and we'll have Jessica back soon. Okay, everyone?
Thank you. I enjoyed watching. Very
Thanks.
nice.
Thank you so much for coming,
Thank you.
Rosalie. Thank you,
Thanks.
Karen.
Good night.
Nikki, you'll send us the recipes, right, Nikki?
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Bye.
Have a good night, and I'll send you the recipes now.
Perfect. We'll post those. Thanks, everyone.